Hey there, everybody. I am joined by Andy Talaga.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good, good. I'm excited for our discussion today. And Happy New Year, by the way.
Yeah, happy
Today,
New Year.
we wanted to chat a little bit about why you should keep all your sealed product sealed. Don't
Yeah,
open it. It is a terrible value proposition. And I guess our definition of sealed product. So this is the stuff that a game goes out of print, whatever the printing run's done, it's still sealed. It's sitting there. It looks cool. It's tempting you. Why should you not open that, Andy? Tell me why I shouldn't listen to the voices in my head telling me to open every single booster pack.
yeah. I mean, it's a pretty controversial topic. There's a lot of people who are say that sealed is meant to be opened, and that
Sure.
like keeping cards sealed is like almost like blasphemy to the like intent of the game or the designers or the company that put it out 20 years ago or whatever, right? But at the end of the day, there's just not a. I mean, even with large print runs, for example, you know, Star Wars CCG Premiere or Cloud City or something, where the print run's just like massive. There's there's probably some warehouse somewhere that's got a bunch of this stuff other than I don't know where, but like there's just not a lot of it out there. I mean, it pops up here and there, and it's like there's always one for sale, at least somewhere on the internet. But like, what are you really getting out of opening this box? Like, what is your goal? Is your goal to like get commons and uncommons? I mean, there's a metric ton of bulk commons and uncommons across like all sets, basically. Even
All
like
games, every game, there's so
even
many.
like harder to find sets, like you can still find it. And I mean, yeah, you're gonna pay more than what probably amounts to free, right? The cost of shipping, but like commons and uncommons are out there. And if you're opening a box just to rip commons and uncommons, like I would tell you to pause and really rethink that decision. If you're opening it because you want to like complete a set, again, there's a lot of rares. If you're really looking for like mint condition stuff, I think there's been enough pack openings between like friend of the channel Kyle Mullins and
This is
even
not an attack
yourself
on you, Kyle. Like this is not meant to.
that
We
like
wish
you'll
you the
open a
best in
pack and
your
like
journey.
the cards aren't going to come out like mint. I think you did like I want to say like maybe it was a Star Wars Reflections 2 or Reflections 3. And you got like a Queen's Royal ship or something, and like the corner was already nicked. Like
Yes, yes, yes.
it's like this card was sealed. It's sealed. Like you're not gonna. You may just not open a mint card, and if your intent was to rip packs open because you want to get mint cards for a set, you know, there's yeah, sure, there's a really good chance that that will happen, but there's also a chance that it doesn't. And there's enough resellers across like all different communities, whether that's Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or Star Trek or Versus System or whatever game you're really into. There's somebody who is going to be like the go-to person that has like everything. I'm thinking like Radu for Lord of the Rings or something that just has like these like massive collections. And like they might charge you a little bit of a premium because they're gonna say like, well, this card's gem mint versus like light play. Okay, but like the up cost of like that is probably less than the cost of just blind ripping packs open.
So I think, yeah, for me, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. The way I think about it is, anytime a game goes out of print, things are extremely cheap in the beginning. So you might even have been able to find like a box of using Star Wars CCG here, Coruscant, for cheaper than a set of Coruscant, like in 2002, 2003,
Sure.
2004, because they just didn't know what to do with it, right? And happens with all these games, and they go to places like Hills Wholesale, or a couple other distributors, Wild Thing Games, and they kind of sit there for a while, and then they slowly diminish. And now a box of Coruscant is $2,500. That is, I think it was $30 in 2002 or something, going the way back machine,
Sure.
$30 versus $2,500, and a set is what, 700. So you're
700.
talking about a 4 times premium on a sealed box. it just doesn't make any sense to
Yeah,
open
I
up.
mean, even if you were trying to get all 9 or 10 AIs, those still all probably, even at Coruscant, still probably are only like, I mean, the Queen, like Queen Amidala's, you know, $200, you know, Darth Maul, Young Apprentice, $200, but like all said and combined, you could probably get all of the AIs and the set for the same cost as a box. And the
Yeah,
box is, I think they're the thin boxes, so they have what, 30 packs in them, I
30
think.
packs. So this is all not to say that it's not a fun. I mean, I've opened dozens of packs just on this channel. Like I recognize every time this is a nostalgia moment, and it is not a good value proposition, right? And
No. So I mean, if you're in it for value, there's many other avenues you can do to be more efficient with your money, which can extend your collecting goals, because money is ultimately a utility of how you can use it to acquire goods and services. So, if you have more money, you can get more, in this case, goods, right? Other things that you're collecting. So if you're doing it purely on an economic standpoint, ripping boxes and packs is probably like the one of the most negative EV experiences you can have. That said, if you're just doing it for like fun, like you want to rip packs with your kids and or relive like what was it like in 1997 when I was 13 and had a $10 a week allowance and could never afford a box at retail for $144 or whatever, right? Like, okay, sure, there's some of that, but like there's other games that, like, if you're just trying to go for like the I just want to rip packs open, there are many other things and games that you could open.
yep,
Wars, white bordered Star Trek premiere. I think Steve Sanders
it's
said
on like
like
Amazon.
$20 a box. It's like, there you go. It's all day long. Buy 2 cases of it and just sit there and rip
Yep.
open packs if you want. And like, okay, maybe you're like a die-hard Star Wars person. Like I'm a die-hard Star Wars person. So like, me opening up, Jean-Luc Picard is not nearly as cool as opening up Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker, but it's still kind of cool, right?
I mean, look at Andy. I got some young Jedi for you. I can feed that. It's like $2 a pack, $3 a pack.
Jedi Knights. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
Jedi Knights,
super
50
cheap.
cents a pack. Yeah.
So like, there's other things you can do than like opening up like a box of Endor. Like that's just you're just literally hoping to like light your money on fire if you're doing that.
So I think this sort of like is a good segue into one of our kind of predictions for this year. We were kind of chatting about this, but I think that this year will be the year that a lot of people start getting more into sealed product. I think it's one of those things. It's interesting, right? It's frankly strange that a box that was produced in a factory from a defunct company, no matter whatever it is, like still exists, and it's like sitting untouched in a basement. Like that's just kind of like interesting. I think for me, like I have some sealed product mounted over there. It's just kind of cool. It's a nice decorative thing, and I think that market's going to heat up a little bit. That's one of my kind of predictions for
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah, and I'm gonna completely agree with this, right? I was listening to your state of the Star Wars market with Greg and Cameron and Mark a week or two back, whenever that was released. One of the observations that Greg made was that, you could see this kind of like shifting trend of like how sets sold. So like Premiere through like special edition, like sold really well. Then it was the later sets. Then it was AIs and foils and then whiteboard. And it kind of like went in this like wave and like double backed again, I guess, where you could see like new collectors from COVID coming in being like, well, I'll just buy, Premiere and A New Hope and maybe Hoth, right? But then it was like, well, I'll get the Death Star 2, or like I'll get all the whiteboarded sets, or like whatever it was. And I feel like a lot of those collectors that remained from COVID are probably going to be at the point of where it's like, I'm not really interested in the Japanese stuff, and I don't want to spend $15,000 for a Japanese Hoth set. But I've got all the black bordered sets. I got my foil sets. I either did get the white bordered sets, or I could care less about whiteboard. What else is out there? Or like if you're in like Lord of the Rings, like you're like, I got all the movie block stuff, and then I moved on to some of the like later stuff. What else can I do? Because I still have the collecting bug sealed. All right. And so I think that's where,
Yeah. And the thing is, I think,
hit.
yeah, I think within that, sealed as well is like a really powerful nostalgia piece, right? Because it's saying that it's like you kind of feel like you've recreated the comic book store that you went to as a kid, or whatever. Like, it's kind of fun to think about the display and the temptation there of opening it. I mean, I'm still going to open packs, but I also fully acknowledge that this is a bad use of my money. But I have worse habits than opening packs. So.
Exactly. And the only other thing is, I think sealed has a little bit of resiliency to external economic factors, right? Like your set of whatever is probably selling for less than it was 2 years ago, but sealed's going to hold its value better than singles and, loose individual cards. And so, as you move into kind of recessionary markets over 2023 and the economy takes a downturn, if you're looking for an alternate place to park your money other than, honestly just put it in like if you only have like $400, just put it in like a CD at your bank and get like 6 or 7% on a month. But I'm not a finance expert, so don't take it from me. But buying a box of Premier will probably weather the storm of economic downturn over the next year. Then, and you'll come out and you'll still have an asset, a box of Premier,
physical thing to own. Yeah. I don't know. It's fun to open stuff up. I'm going to do plenty of opening in 2023, but I'm going to try to only open stuff that is cheap, which
wars.
frankly is wars. Lots of wars in the closet. Andy, thanks so much for joining me today. And
sounds good.
I'm sure we'll see you again on the channel soon.
Hopefully.
Thanks. All right. See everybody next time.